The Atari 2600 came out in 1977 when I was a mere 3 years old, so all my very earliest of gaming memories are generally from this amazing console. I can remember seeing Yar's Revenge at a Christmas party when I was 8, and also being mesmerized by Raiders of the Lost Ark around the same time. At some point we had an Atari 2600 in my own house. Most likely it was my older brother's, as he was into the same stuff as I am, but just a bit of an earlier generation. Really, he was my gateway to gaming. I used to sneak on his computer and play the old Sierra games like Space Quest, King's Quest, and even Leisure Suit Larry. Anyway, most of my Atari 2600 memories are from his console, as I never owned one myself. I've always considered getting one in my later years, but just never bit the bullet for a number of reasons, like not really knowing much about the system, limited space, and also the hookups. I actually have slight nightmares about hooking up those prongs to the back of a TV using a screwdriver. It was honestly a big pain in the ass. We had a big, massive floor console TV in our living room, and I'm 10 or so, and I can't move the TV at all. So I have to climb on top of the TV and slide behind it with my legs sticking up in the air, upside down, trying to connect the RF switch with a screwdriver. Not fun at the time, but totally fun thinking back on it. But now we have this thing. It's the Retron 77. It's an Atari 2600 clone system that runs on emulation. It's HDMI, it's compact, it looks awesome, and it plays all those games that bring back fuzzy feelings. I've actually been following this thing since it was announced and pre-ordered it on day one. Also, on first hearing about this system, I immediately started collecting some of my favorite Atari games, which are coincidentally most likely some of the most common but must-own games on the system. Today on SideQuest, I'm going to show you the unboxing of the system, my current game library, and some game tests and thoughts. So stick around and check it out. Hey, so here's the box. Nice looking packaging with the corner cut off from Hyperkin. Let's open this thing up here and see what we have. On the left is the console, on the right is the controller here. Let's take the controller out. The cool thing about this controller is it has a super long cord, which I appreciate. Also, the controller has two buttons for people who are left or right-handed, which is very nice. Let's get the console out here. I really love the way the console looks. It's really great. Has the cool cut-off corner that's typical of Hyperkin products. And that logo lights up there when you turn it on, which is cool. Plus the fake wood grain. Totally love that. Comes with a bunch of accessories also. Manual, which you don't really need. Pretty much just pop the games in and play. In this box here, we have a bunch of standard stuff here. Let's take it out and take a look. There's a USB cable for the power, HDMI cable, and it also comes with a power block, which is nice because I can't have too many of those. But there's everything that comes in the box. Nice little package, looks slick. Has all the buttons on the front here. The middle is the on-off switch. Controller ports. And then over here on the back you have the power cable input, HDMI. You have a fry button, aspect ratio, black and white or color, and a memory card slot. Alright, so let's take a look at my current Atari 2600 game collection. I'll show my box stuff first. Here's Spider-Man. Next up, I have Asteroids. Then Combat, which usually always came with the system back in the day. Classic Berserk. One I used to play a lot when I was a kid, Haunted House. Of course, essential for the system, Pitfall. Then we have Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then one of my favorites, especially in the arcade, Vanguard. I loved this game in the arcade. And of course, you have to have Yar's Revenge. And here's a stack of unboxed stuff. River Raid, one of the best. E.T., one of the, you know, E.T. Qbert, great game. Also, I have a Venture here. And last but not least is Popeye. One thing I love about these old Atari games, they have amazing artwork on the boxes. Check out some of these photos I took of some of my games. Yeah, so another great thing about all of these Atari games is the awesome stuff that comes in them. A lot of them have comic books. This is the Yar's Revenge comic book that came with the game. It's full color, and it's really super cool to include this kind of stuff. This comic book here, Atari Force, came with the Berserk game, and I believe this series continued on into other games, so you can find this book and other games here. Very cool edition. I love stuff like this. Here's the box for Spider-Man. It has this really cool holder insert thing here that looks great when you open up this box, and Spider-Man's sitting in there like that. It's really awesome. Alright, now let's test out some games. The first game I tried out was Berserk. Berserk is a super fun, multi-directional shooter where you run through a bunch of mazes and clear them out of these armed robots by killing them. Interesting fact about Berserk is it was the first arcade cabinet where somebody actually died playing it. And the crazy thing is, the arcade where the kid died after getting this high score on Berserk is, it's not there anymore, but it is really close to where I live, about 5 minutes away. Yeah, so the next game I tried out here was Vanguard. And like I said before, I really loved playing this game in the arcade. It actually had 4 buttons in the arcade where you used each button for shooting up, down, left, and right, which is pretty cool. On this version, you just use the joystick to determine which way you fire. But yeah, this is a great early shmup, and it has a great color palette, and I think it plays really well on the Retron and, of course, the Atari 2600. And of course, we have Pitfall. Pitfall played great on the Retron 77. Everything was totally smooth and perfect. And honestly, when I put this in and started playing it, I forgot how great this game really is. Like, it was totally fun, and you know, it's not real hard, and you can run through it and just have a good time. It was a really great game, and plays perfect on the Retron. Definitely one that you need to have in your library if you pick up a Retron 77 for sure. Alright, and the final game that I tested out was River Raid. River Raid is honestly one of my favorite games on the system. It's a top-down shooter where you fly in this airplane and you can speed up and slow down to take care of these boats and helicopters and things you see here. And you have to watch your fuel meter and pick up these fuel tanks and try not to destroy them if you're gonna pick them up. But really super game, essential for the library. Plays perfect on the Retron 77. So yeah, all these games that I tested out, and since this video I've also tested out every single game. I really haven't had a problem with any game at all. They've all worked great for me. Heard some rumors about like Pitfall 2 maybe not working, but for me, everything's great. And I really love the Retron 77. Great controller. Everything's fantastic. Definitely pick it up. Hey, thanks for checking out this video all about the Retron 77. I totally think this is an awesome product. I love the design, the fake wood grain, and the convenience of this thing. Being able to hook it up to any TV in a second is a serious plus. Plus it has a super nice controller, and not to mention, collecting for the Atari 2600 is totally fun and cheap. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on the Retron 77 or the original Atari 2600 and games for that matter. Do you plan to pick this up? And also let me know your favorite Atari games so I can check them out as well. Yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.